The Carnival of the Animals piece is kind of fast and funny in this particular version. The original idea for the piece came from Joe Grant, and he's Disney history. I mean, he wrote Dumbo. He came up with the original Dance of the Hours in Fantasia. He was Walt's right arm for many, many years.
And he came up with this nutball idea of flamingos and yo-yos. I got my research from my previous co-directing partner, Mike Gabriel, who anytime he was bored on Pocahontas would pull out a yo-yo and start playing with it. Why a flamingo should have a yo-yo is down to us, and we figured, well, he has a yo-yo because he's the oddball. He's the one who wants to play while everybody else wants him to get in line.
Early story reels were very like Dance of the Hours. One guy had a yo-yo and all the others were chasing him in order to get it, you know, because they wanted it, which was like the ostriches and the grapes in Dance of the Hours. They all want the bunch of grapes.
One thing we learned when we went to study flamingos at various zoos in California is that they tend to work as a kind of group unit. When one lifts his head, they all lift their heads. When one decides to walk to the left, they all walk to the left. It's kind of mob rule, so to speak. And we thought it would be funny to make our hero the individual, the guy who actually doesn't want to get in line with the mob.
The Snotty Six was actually one flamingo that was animated by Eric Goldberg, and then we rubber stamped that across the screen, so to speak, and created the Snotty Six.
We call the six the Snotty Six because they have such a kind of uppity attitude. So they have kind of an uppity coral color. When you see them, they're usually against a yellow background, the yellow kind of being a bit sharp and a bit precise and just having the feel of a little bit of aggression. And when you see him, he's going to be against a light green background. And he's a wonderful warm pink, and he's a warm personality, and he's kind of goofy and has a purple nose. You get the feeling that he's kind of somebody you could be friends with, you know? We really went for colors that we thought would represent kind of the emotional values that these characters were having. So the whole idea was to put colors in as an emotional tool too. One of the things we really wanted to go for was something that looked incredibly handmade, like artists actually sat there and struggled to do it. So we're actually hand painting this, something they don't do anymore. Instead of going to computer where they've scanned in the drawings and you have a color modelist who paints the drawing, we're actually hand painting it all on watercolor paper.
It really is just a spectacular piece to look at because you're watching it and you're saying, this is a watercolor painting, but it's moving.
When we were all finished with Carnival of the Animals, we realized that we had a kind of dual joy of having, first of all, the international language of music be universal and understood by everybody around the world, but also the international language of humor as well. It's nice to be able to do something in pantomime and have everybody understand it in any country around the world.